All right, we'll go ahead and get started. So let's come to a comfortable position, seated on our mats. We're going to start in a seated position today. And we're going to focus in this practice on hips and shoulders, and really connecting hips and shoulders from the spine. And so essentially we'll be playing with our axial skeleton. So anyway, so come to a seated position. And just for a moment, let's close our eyes and simply begin to notice the breath. Notice the breath as it comes in through the nostrils, soft belly changing shapes, chest expanding in all directions, front, back, side to side, up and down, fullness of breath in the body. And then allow the breath to flow out. Chest contracts, navel draws back towards spine, emptiness. And then the intention to breathe in again. And so as we are in a seated position, and also when we lie down for Savasana, it's a wonderful time to allow the belly to really soften, and with the breath, especially with the inhalation. And then not necessarily engaging navel back towards spine, but knowing that that is an option, and that option helps you to strengthen abdominal muscles and also to tone the abdominal organs. And so just for a few moments, just exploring this way of breathing, soft belly. And so soft belly allows us to connect with and to empower our emotional body, simply to be. And so it's a nice practice. When we move into more active yoga, into yoga asana, then it's important to engage the muscles in the core. So abdomen, side body, even the muscles in the back, by hugging everything in and maintaining that core engagement of the core throughout the active asana practice. And so then the breath becomes a chest breath rather than a soft belly breath. And so perhaps connecting even more mindfully than usual to your breath during the practice today. So now beginning with some movement, let's just bring the soles of the feet together. And to begin, you can press the soles of the feet together and hold on to your ankles or your shins, wherever it's comfortable, in order to support the spine. And so really lifting from the sits bones all the way up through the waist, through the chest cavity, the circle of the ribs and the spine, all the way up to the circle of the skull, the head. And then let's just begin to rock from side to side. And so allow it to be a very active lifting up out of the spine, connecting the spine to the pelvis, breathing and noticing, connecting also through the shoulders and using the shoulders to help you to lift up out of the hips, engaging core, and breathing. And just simply notice sensation in the hips, the pelvis, the low back. Just breathing and noticing. Allowing the breath to be deep and full. Allowing the movement to be active and quick. And then go ahead and bring that to stillness, and then bring your feet inward to a cross body position, cross-legged position. And then sit up nice and tall, again, lifting, lengthening from the sits bones through the waist, through the chest and shoulders, all the way up to the crown of the head. Now we're going to begin some little twisting movements. So keeping the pelvis and the sacrum stable, and then allowing the movement to come primarily from the lower thoracic spine. So the lumbar spine is going to move a little bit, and that is okay. But continue to breathe and to engage your core muscles, protecting the lower back, and just this little movement, twisting left hand to right knee, right hand to left knee, opposite hand behind. So just breathing and noticing. And then let's go ahead and bring that to stillness. And then we're going to do some lateral stretching, but we are going to include the arms. So take the right arm up overhead, laterally stretch to the left, keeping the sits bones evenly placed on the earth, and then arm down, and then left arm up and over, and then down. And so once you set your alignment for the smooth, stable, and comfortable action of the arms and shoulders and spine, you can increase the speed. So keeping the breath even and quick as the movement is even and quick. Just breathing and noticing. And then let's go ahead and bring that to stillness, and then move up onto our hands and knees. So on our hands and knees, setting yourself so that your wrists are safe and the hands, arms, shoulders engaged, feet, knees, hips engaged. Inhale and sway, and exhale and round. And so allow this movement to be free. So you set your frame securely, and then you allow the spine and the hips and the shoulders to move as deeply as they want. Okay, you can even come forward with your hips as you sway, perhaps moving back a little bit with your hips when you round. Just breathing, noticing, exploring hips and shoulders. And then let's begin doing circles, just circling with the hips, coming forward to the side, back, other side. So rotating hips in big circles, keeping the arms and the shoulders strong and stable. Hips moving, energy increasing, so breathing and noticing, and then go ahead and take those circles in the other direction. Nice, big, full circles of the hips, breathing, noticing. And then bring that to stillness, and then shift the weight to the left knee, curl those left toes under. And then what we're going to do, just extend that right leg behind you. You can touch the toes to the floor to begin. get a sense of the evenness of your hips and your alignment. And then what we're going to do is round the back, take the knee to the forehead, and then inhale, lift the leg, and lift the chest and the head. Okay, so exhale and round, inhale and lift. 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 And then go ahead and take it to the other side. So just first getting a sense of the evenness of the hips as the legs are now asymmetrical. And then round, knee to the forehead, inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale and round, inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, round, inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, round, inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, round, inhale, lift and lengthen. And then go ahead and bring that to stillness. Now press into your hands, take the knees wide apart, toes together, and then arms strong, palms connected to shoulder blades. Begin to take the hips back towards the heels, lengthen through the spine, lengthen through the arms. So if the hands can reach forward towards the top edge of the mat, allow that. It might just be millimeters, but every little bit of distance counts. Lift the shoulders up towards the ceiling, the shoulder blades, and the elbows are in a full extension. So they're not resting down to the floor, they're actually lifting up. And you're using weight and your breath to allow the hips to move farther and farther back and down towards the heels. Just breathing and noticing, getting a sense of the back body, breathing. And then go ahead and come up on to hands and knees again. Now we're going to do a variation of pretzel pose where we do repetitions in and out. And so, or threading the needle, I think that's the actual another name for this. So we're going to take the right arm, palm up, and we're going to thread it between the left arm and the leg. And we're going to bend that left elbow so that we can take the shoulder and the side of the head down to the floor, but it's very controlled, okay? And so then you're going to inhale. Try to keep the hips very stable, engage your core, and then open out to the right, really plugging the top of that arm bone into the shoulder socket, and then go ahead and take it down again. So down and up, using your breath. It doesn't matter which is which. I kind of like exhaling down and inhaling up. And so continue a couple more repetitions, really noticing the stability of the hips and the pelvis and the low back, and increasing mobility in your arm and your shoulder. And then finally come to stillness with the arm extending up. Keep the head in alignment with the neck bone, but you can turn your gaze towards that right hand, breathing and opening. And then go ahead and set that hand down. Nice deep breath. And then moving on with the other side. So left hand, palm up, threading between the arm and the leg. And then inhale, stable, strong hips. And so that the twist comes from the level of the waist, really engaging the arm bone, plugging it into the shoulder socket, and then down. So inhaling up, exhaling down. Just breathing and noticing. Inhaling up, exhaling down. Inhaling up and then pausing with the arm reaching up, really connecting top of the arm bone into the shoulder socket, opening just as much as you possibly can, breathing and opening, and then go ahead and set that arm down. Nice deep breath. So let's go ahead, toes together, knees apart, stretch back again, active arms, lifting shoulders up to the sky, breathing. And then go ahead, come up onto your hands and knees, and now a little bit of strengthening for the upper body, especially the arms, especially the triceps. So really pressing into all of the backs of the knuckles, pressing into the finger pads, placing your hands so that they might be turned out just a wee bit, okay? And then what we want to do is bring the elbows towards the chest as we lower the chest down just a little bit and then straighten. Okay, so exhale down, inhale, straighten. Exhale down, inhale, straighten. Exhale down, inhale, straighten. Exhale down, inhale, straighten. And then go ahead and bring that to stillness. And what we're going to do next is keep the thighs perpendicular to the floor. Okay, so really hug into the center. Keep that very, very stable as you slowly begin to walk the hands forward. Okay, staying in control of it. And to this extent that you are able, lower the chest down towards the floor. So breathing, notice. This is called puppy pose, and it's a fairly new pose to me in that I only was introduced to it about a year ago. I just never done this before, and I think it's a great way to open through the shoulders and chest and to reverse or prevent kyphosis, that dowager's hump in the back that some people get as they age. So then very carefully walk those hands back. Okay. So if that's hard for you, I understand, because it's really hard for me as well. Okay, so now we're going to curl under the toes. Okay, so we're going to press onto the soles of the feet and then just press up to dog pose. So coming to dog, and notice, my arms feel fatigued just from that much, but not so fatigued that I cannot safely press into the hands, plug the top of the arm bones into the shoulder blades. So I'm really active on the back body, squeezing the shoulder blades together and opening the outer edges of the scapula, really pressing into the hands, lengthening through the spine, and the head can hang or the head can look towards the navel, either way. And lifting hips up towards the sky, even as we tuck the tailbone between the legs. Get the legs as straight as they will go, so a full extension at the knee joint. And then think of flexing the ankles rather than thinking of pressing the heels down. Think of flexing the ankle joint. Breathe and notice. And then come down onto hands and knees again. And just one more little thing here. And what we're going to do, we want to stabilize the effort. So the same amount of effort from the arms to the legs. So the toes are curled under, and then very actively, we're going to engage our core and we're going to lift our knees just a millimeter. Breathe and notice. Engage core. So draw navel back towards spine. Think of taking lower front rib cage towards pubic bone, okay, to neutralize the spinal curves. Breathe, breathe, breathe. And then finally, back to dog pose. And then finally, walk the feet towards the center of the mat. Walk the hands back towards the center of the mat. Let the head hang. Let the arms relax. All the way from the shoulder blades, all the way through that shoulder girdle, the complex of bones that create the shoulder joint, the sternum on the front of the chest, the breastbone, okay, that comes into play here. The clavicles, the collarbones, and the scapula, okay, they connect loosely. They're connected with lots of tendons and ligaments. And then the arm, the head of the humerus attaches into that. And so just let that all relax. Muscles lengthening, head hanging, breathing. And then set your hands on your hips. So encircle your pelvis, thumbs on the back, fingers around the front. And then point the elbows up to the ceiling as you really connect with those shoulder blades on the back body, squeezing the shoulder blades together. And then lift from out of the hips. So you're leading with the chest, leading with the heart. And then come all the way up to standing and take a nice deep breath. Now lower the arms down to your side and just inhale up and exhale down. Inhale, arms up, exhale, arms down. A few more times, breathing and noticing. Alrighty, and then let that come to stillness, and then go ahead and step to the front of the mat. Grab your blocks. Just set the blocks to the side for right now. Alrighty, so finding mountain pose. Let's inhale, stretch arms up over the head, lifting, lengthening out of the soles of the feet. Okay, shins in, thighs spiraling out. Engage the buttocks so that the pelvis is neutral. And then bring the hands together and interlace the fingers into temple pose. So index finger pointing up, other fingers folded together. And again, notice the shoulder girdle, the shoulder complex, and breathe and notice. So even as you're plugging the tops of the arm bones into the shoulder socket, you are lengthening the muscles that travel between the shoulder blades, the elbows, the wrists, and the finger joints. So breathing, lifting, lengthening. And then interlace your fingers. So out of temple pose, just hands folded, and then rest the base of the skull in your palms. And the elbows are pointing, reaching out towards the sides of the room. Okay, press into the soles of the feet. Press shins in towards each other. Thighs spiraling out, buttocks engaged, pelvis a perfect bowl, hugging everything in towards the center, core is engaged. And then lift up out of the rib cage, and then present your heart to the sky. Breathe and notice. Inhale, lift, lengthen. Keep your eyes open. Exhale, reaching back. Inhale, lifting, lengthening. Exhale, reaching back. Backward bending. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, reaching back. And then go ahead and come back to center. Take the arms over the head, turn the palms forward, encircle the left wrist with your right index finger and thumb, and open stretch to the right and breathe. Inhale, lifting up out of the soles of the feet, lengthening the whole side body, compressing gently into the other side body, breathing and noticing. And then inhale back to center, palms looking forward, fingers spread. Encircle the right wrist with the left index finger and thumb, and then open stretch in the other direction. Breathe and notice. Inhale, lengthening. Exhale, connecting the soles of the feet to the earth as you deepen the lateral stretch. And then inhale back to center, lift, lengthen, turn palms towards each other, and then turn palms out, rotating at the shoulders, press the arms down, and bring the hands to the heart. Nice deep breath. All right, so now hips. So you can bring the feet closer together. You can bring the feet all the way touching if you want to. And then what we're going to do is sit deeply. So we're going to bend the knees, sit as deeply as you can, keeping the spine neutral. So one way to do that is to continue to think about that connection between the pubic bone and the front ribs. That's going to prevent you from exaggerated lumbar curve. So just sitting deeply, and then float the arms up so that you're in a nice deep chair pose. Breathing, noticing warming up the hip joints. Breathing and noticing. Make sure that your knees are comfortable and continue to breathe. And then go ahead and release. Shake out the arms, walk the feet, and just take a nice breath. Roll the shoulders back. All right, so now we are going to inhale, stretch arms up over the head, bring the hands to the heart, and then with straight legs, hinge at the hips, folding to a parallel line. So the torso is parallel to the floor. And you're really lengthening from the crown of the head to the hip bone. So you're pressing the hip bones back behind you. You're pressing the crown of the head ahead of you. And you're tucking the tailbone. So these are pretty subtle cues, and perhaps they translate into muscular action, and perhaps not yet. It doesn't matter. So go ahead and fold over, head hangs, breathing. So now what we're going to do is we're going to do a standing split. Okay, just so we're really working on strength and flexibility of the hip joint. They go together. So what you want to do is, ideally the legs are straight, okay? But if you have to bend your knees a little bit to feel stable in your standing in this forward fold, that's okay. What I want you to do is, so we're pressing into the hands. If you need to use your blocks, that's fine. Okay, to be able to, you want to have a good base of support. Okay, so use your blocks if you need them. And what we're going to do is just take this left foot behind us a little bit. Okay, so you're allowing the body to get a sense of what's coming. Okay, and you want to keep the hips even. That's the challenge. Okay, and the hips are closed. Okay, so we're not turning out the left hip. We're keeping it square forward. Okay, and then you're going to hold on to the right ankle. And if you can get the forearm to press into the calf, that's even better. Okay, and if you can fold so deeply that your belly is pressing into the thigh, that's even better. It creates more stability. That's what I mean by better. Okay, and then finally, we're going to flex the left foot and we're going to lift the leg. Think of lifting from the buttocks. Okay, so breathing, noticing, head hangs, arms are supporting this. That right leg is really working, okay? And the left leg is working too. And you're trying to keep the asymmetrical pelvis even. Breathe and notice. Breathe and notice. And then go ahead and set the hand that's holding onto the leg down on the floor of the block and then lower the leg. Bringing the feet in line, hanging over, take a rest, take a breath, and then moving into the same pose, other side. So, setting your hands for support, and then just stepping that right foot about a foot or 18 inches behind you with a toe at least grazing the floor. Okay, so that way you have a better sense of proprioception. You know where your limbs are in space if you have a little boundary. So this boundary of the toe pressing into the floor helps us to get the hips even and in alignment. Okay, so then finally, we're going to hold on to the ankle with the hand, same ankle, same hand. Try to get the forearm to press into the calf. Try to get that abdomen to press towards the thighs. You lift the hips up towards the sky, flex that right foot, and begin to lift the leg. And so breathe and notice, keep the foot flexed. That helps to stabilize the hip joint, okay? Breathe and notice. Breathe and notice. Breathe. Head hangs. Don't let that tension in the neck creep in. And then go ahead and lower the leg. Nice deep breath. Hands pressing down into the earth. And in fact, really fold even deeper. Folding belly towards thighs, chest towards knees, crown of the head towards the floor. And then take your arms and clasp them together behind you. So clasp your hands together behind you. Let the fists, okay, press into the sacrum. So the thumb side. Pressing into the sacrum, take the elbows towards each other, and then engage your core. Lift from the hips, leading with the heart, and find a neutral position so that your torso is parallel to the floor. Lengthen through the whole spine, pulling out with the head so the neck is long, and then continue to come all the way up as you work to straighten the arms at the elbows, even as you're pressing the side of the arms out towards the walls. Okay, you're not letting the deltoids those muscles that live on the outer aspect of your upper arm to point backward, okay? You're pointing them towards the side walls. That maintains stability of the shoulders, the shoulder girdle, okay? And then finally, you can try to lift the fist away from the sacrum. Breathe and notice. There's lots of intensity here. Breathing, noticing, and then go ahead and release. Shake the arms out. Now for balance, we're going to take the arms up over the head, and then you're going to lower the arms, clasp your hands together in the funky clasp. So with the one that feels awkward. So however you did it last time, do it oppositely. And so you can start with the fist just pressing into the sacrum, taking the elbows back behind you, even as you press these muscles out to the side, okay? Breathe and notice. And then finally work to straighten the elbows, and then finally work to lift the fists away from the sacrum. So you are stretching the muscles across the front of the chest. You're strengthening the muscles in the arms, especially triceps and all of those muscles that live on the back of the body around the shoulder blades. And then go ahead and release. Shake all that out. All righty. Wow, it's already 22 minutes till 9. Where does the time go? All right, so bring the hands to the heart. Inhale, stretch up. Exhale, back. Inhale up, hands to the heart. Fold forward. So we're going to move through a couple of sun salutations, and we're going to do variations for opening the hips. So take the right leg back, high lunge. Breathe and notice, okay? So really setting yourself so you are lengthening the spine in a neutral position over the left thigh. So you're lengthening all the way from that right heel through the hips, through the chest and the shoulders, neutral spine. You're not rounding over, and you're lengthening through the crown of the head. And then go ahead and take the left hand to the inside of the left foot and take that left foot so that it's pointing towards the corner of the mat. So it's turned out. And then continue to breathe. Keep this back leg really, really strong. So you're onto the the dorsal surface of your foot. Okay, so the pads of the toes are pressing down into the earth. And the leg is straight. You're plugging the top of that leg bone into the hip socket, and you are lengthening from the foot to the crown. Breathe and notice. Now, finally, you can walk the hands so that your torso is towards the corner, the right corner of the mat, okay, opening the hips even more. So be careful about your hands and your palms. So set it up so that there's strength and alignment from the palms through the elbows to the shoulders, and then set the knee down and breathe. So breathing, noticing, opening hip, breathing, opening into those hip joints. And then finally, you can lower the elbows down. Okay, so breathing, noticing, lengthening through the spine, lots of integrity with your joints, wrist, elbows, shoulders, feet, ankles, knees, hips, tracking and alignment. That basic alignment that we talk about in mountain pose, the basic alignment that we talk about in warrior two. Breathe and notice. And now, just because we have to, because it feels so good, we're going to put the weight on this right forearm and palm so that we can lift the left hand and set it on the hip. Set the left hand on the left hip joint. And then we're just going to slide that hand up the torso and extend all the way from the hip to the fingers. So this is the same alignment as with the lateral stretching that we do in a standing pose. So breathe and lengthen. Breathe and create more openness, even as you are maintaining the integrity, the way the joints are all plugged in towards each other. There's no disconnect. And then go ahead and release from that and put all the pieces, parts back into the basic alignment for your lunge, okay? And breathe here for a moment, bringing everything back to this basic form. And then we can press into the hands, take that left foot back to meet the right. Nice deep breath. Breathe, breathe, breathe. Now set down the knees, flatten the tops of the feet, and then take the elbows in towards the waist as you take the chest down, chin down, buttocks up in the air. Breathe. Notice sensation in your chest, your shoulders, your hips, your pelvis, your sacrum, your low back. And then finally press into your hands and slide the chest through and come up into a cobra pose, your cobra pose. It doesn't matter how high or how low it is, but create openness and stability. And then curl the toes under, press back to dog pose. Nice deep breath. Allow strength. Allow integrity. And with strength and integrity, we can open and create more space in our body, more space in our heart, more space in our minds. And then go ahead and step the right foot forward between your hands, finding your lunge, set the knee down in this lunge, lengthening. So really lengthen from the heel to the head. And then we need to lift the leg, because I remember that's what we did it on the other side. That's how we approached it. So breathing, lengthening, lifting. And then turn the right foot out as you bring the right hand on the inside of the right foot. And so from here, we're opening the front hip. Okay, so breathing and noticing. And then walk the hands so that they are, so that the torso is over or facing towards the corner, the left corner of the mat, and continue to sink energetically. You're strong. Everything is plugged in. Joints are connecting, okay? Strong muscle engagement, breathing. Breathing, breathing, breathing. And then finally set that knee down, the back knee. Breathe and notice. And then finally you can take the elbows down, letting that right knee open out as that hip opens out. Breathe and notice. And then shifting weight to the left elbow and forearm. Take the right hand to the right pelvis. So you're just circling the side of the pelvis with your hands, thumb on the back, fingers on the front, and then just slide the hand up the side of the torso and then extend the arm. Breathe and notice. So nice lateral stretch. Breathing and lengthening. And then go ahead and return the right hand to the floor and set your lunge back in its original place. And then go ahead and step that left foot up to meet the right. Forward folding. Nice deep breath. And then from here, let's hold on to the elbows with the hand. So opposite elbow, opposite hand, and let that frame your head. So the head is hanging, and then we're going to begin to lift the elbows. So we're going to lift the elbows, engage the core, and the whole torso just follows along until you're all the way up to a standing position. Release the arms, plug the tops of the arm bones into the shoulder blades and breathe. And then interlace your hands and bring the palms to the top of the head. And then exhale, roll the palms up to the ceiling, straightening the arms. Okay, inhale down, exhale up. Inhale down, exhale up. Inhale down, and exhale up. And then go ahead and release the arms, bring them all the way back to Anjali Mudra. Nice deep breath. All right, so now we are going to play with dancer pose. So, Nataraj asana. If you're not familiar with Hindu mythology and the image of Nataraj, it's something that is worth exploring. I believe I have a blog post on the Yoga and Health website about Nataraj, and there's a chant as well. You might like to check that out sometime this week. So for dancer pose, shift the weight to the left foot. This may be different than you've practiced it before, okay? But bear with me. I think you'll find some benefit. So what we're going to do is bend the right knee, lifting the heel toward the buttocks, and then we're going to reach back and hold on. Now, once you get a hold of your foot with your hand, then what you do is you bring the right knee back in line with the left knee. Don't let it come disconnected. You want to keep everything at the center. Okay, and then you lift that elbow and press it towards the midline, engaging the shoulder blade, that right shoulder blade. Now, to keep the legs from bowing out at the hip joints, what you're going to do, sorry, you may not be able to see this very well, but you're going to, if you can, slide that hand around so that the fingers are on the outside of the foot and the heel of the hand is on the inside. Okay, so then extend the left arm up, and then you're gonna press the foot into the hand, and you're gonna begin to hinge at the hips, coming forward, and breathe. And then release, and let it go when you need to. So nice deep breath. A very challenging pose. Balances are challenging. They're especially challenging at the end of a practice and when the room is very warm. Those are my excuses. All right, so same thing other side. So weight to the right foot. Find your alignment, okay, with that left leg out of the way. And then go ahead and bend and hold on. I like having my unoccupied hand on my hip. That helps me to keep things pulling in towards midline. Helps me to know where my body is, my pieces, parts. And then just hooking that hand around so that the fingers are on the outside of the foot, heel of the hand on the inside, and then extend the right arm up, and then action from the hips, breathing, lifting the foot with the hand, keeping the heart open, keeping the spine neutral, breathing. And then when you're ready, release, and then let it go completely. All righty. So now let's just inhale, stretch arms up. Exhale, hands to the heart, hinge forward, folding over. Head hangs, arms dangle. Breathe. And now we can just roll up one vertebrae at a time. And then go ahead and come down to a seated position. Have your block and your strap handy. So let's just come to a seated position, soles together, just rocking from side to side. Okay, and then we can include our arms as well as if you want to. So stretching arm up alternately with the leg as you rock from side to side, just breathing and noticing. And then bring that to stillness, come back to a seated position, and then that same fun, fast spinal twist that we did in the beginning, just twisting around to one side, then the other, letting the arms swing in a controlled manner, taking opposite hand or fingertips to opposite knee. So breathing and noticing. So the flow has been slow today, but intense, much like the season that we are in. Everything is cold and not incredibly fast moving. And so the practice was in response to what we are experiencing seasonally and environmentally. And so go ahead and bring that to stillness, and we're going to go ahead and lie down onto our backs. So onto your backs and set your feet close to the hips. That's just always a nice way to begin for these poses that we do on our backs. And so go ahead and grab the strap. We're going to take the strap and put it on the ball of the foot. So the goal here is for the leg to be perpendicular and that we're actually plugging the head of the femur into the acetabulum. So if you imagine the acetabulum, it actually means vinegar cup. And so, it's just this little cup, and the head of the femur fits in there. Okay. So sometimes if you think of hooking the head of the femur into the acetabulum, you get a better connection. Okay. So really connecting there and breathing. So we use the strap to give us something to work up against, to work with. So I like to set my arms up so that the frame of my upper body, my shoulders, my chest, it's all working to my benefit. And we're using gravity to help us, okay? And we're breathing. So once you find this perpendicular position, okay, now if you're way down here, then the practice would be to continue to strengthen and lengthen. So it's both strength and flexibility that allows you to find this position. And then once you're here, you can slowly begin to extend that leg, the left leg, all the way down, okay, onto the floor. But it's best not to go there if your leg is not perpendicular, okay? You can still do what we're gonna do, but you continue to work on strengthening and lengthening until you get to this form. Okay, breathe and notice, okay? And so then you can hold on to the strap, both ends of the strap with the right hand. I like to take my left hand and really press my thigh down, okay? So I really want a full extension of this left leg, okay? And I want, sometimes I'll even put a weight. When I used to work out at the gym before COVID, I would actually put a 10-pound weight on my thigh, and I would do this practice after the treadmill, okay? Just in case you're wondering. And so breathing and noticing, and then what we can finally do is stretch that left arm out as a counterweight, okay? And then we're gonna begin to open at the hip joint, okay? We're gonna begin to take that leg out as far as we can take it without compromising the rest of the position. Okay, so that means that our left arm and shoulder is still pressing down. That left leg is still extended and flexed at the ankle, and you are breathing. And then go ahead and bring the leg back to center. Okay, hold on oppositely. And we are gonna take the leg across midline, just a little ways, and you're gonna get an intense, probably, sensation. This is the iliotibial band fascia, okay, that lives right here on the side body. It's good to give it a little stretch from time to time. This is a perfect pose for that. And then go ahead and bring the leg back to center, remove the strap, and then exhale, lower the leg all the way down. Nice deep breath. Okay, and then take the feet back towards the hip to begin the other side. So strap around the foot, left foot this time. Breathe and notice. Remember all of those subtle cues. Breathe and notice. Okay, once you have your leg perpendicular to the floor and you're still pressing the sacrum down into the earth, that's an important point that I failed to mention first go round. Then go ahead and mindfully, actively extend that right leg out onto the floor. Foot is flexed. You are breathing. You're really pressing down. Hold on to the strap, both ends with the left arm, and then take the right arm out and begin to slowly take that leg out to the side. It doesn't matter how far it goes, okay? I mean, it might matter to you. It doesn't matter because we go where we need to be, and that's the beauty of yoga. It's not a contest. So breathe and notice you're all working in the space that you need to be working in. That's all that matters. Breathing, loving your own individuality and your own uniqueness, even as you are part of the collective. And then bring the leg back to center. Change hands so that you can take the foot across midline. Take the leg across midline. Take the hip across midline. And then bring the leg back to center. Release the strap. Engage your core. And slowly take that leg all the way down. Nice deep breath. And so I'm just looking at how cattywampus I am on the mat, wondering if I started out cattywampus, but no, it's probably imbalances of strength and weakness that creates that migration. So anyway, it is what it is. All right, so nice deep breath. Let's go ahead and for our very last finale, just take the block and put it under your sacrum. And for a moment, connect with your feet. Knees are bent, connect with the sacrum resting on the block. Arms out from the side. Head pressing down into the earth. Nice deep breath. And then go ahead and remove the block and rest the sacrum down. Extend the legs out from the sides, palms up to the ceiling into Savasana. And so it is 9 o'clock. And so for those of you who have to skedaddle on to work, thank you very much for joining us in the practice this morning. And for those of you who can linger, please do. Give yourself as much time as you possibly can to rest in Savasana. It is that magical moment, that lovely place where the real healing, body, mind, and spirit occurs. And so thank you all so much for practicing. Have a wonderful week. Namaste.